Hello everyone, welcome to another gear review, another piece of gear sent to me from Jack Vapor to review. This is the SMOK Guardian II E-Pipe. Okay, brilliant piece of kit, and I'm going to be going through some of the specs and the details with you today. So it is made from real wood, okay, and it does have a stainless steel top. Okay, the rest of it stays basically wood and stainless steel, which is a really nice combination. Very nice feel and look to the wood. It fits beautifully in your hand. The fire button is located on the top, so you do have to kind of hold it so that you can press down on it, but it does fit very nicely in your hand. Just to show you, basically you've got when you break it down, you've got the main body of the pipe. Okay, you've got a 510 threaded connector there, so you can connect Ego batteries to it as well, and then if you want to use a 510 tank, you can just screw the connector back on. Sometimes trying to get it in line is half of the battle. Okay, there we go. I've just got a Aspire Nautilus Mini there with a long stem drip tip. Jack Vapor do sell these as well for $4.99, so I've got one of those to show you. Now when you open, just got to get to the camera. In order to open the body itself, you just twist off the top part here. Okay, and then underneath you've got the battery. The battery that goes in this is an 18350 battery, so quite a small one. Just pop that in with the positive end pointing up, and then you just screw the thing back on. Now it works just like most of the batteries in that it does have a 5-click on and off. As you can hear, it is a bit clicky. That's probably one of my biggest little complaints about it, is just how clicky it is. Would have been nice if it had been just a little bit smoother and a little bit quieter, but there you go. To switch it on, you just, it is actually switched on. To switch it on, you just click 3 times. Sorry, no, ignore that. To switch it on, you click it 5 times, and it has 2 different modes. If you look at the dial, you'll see hopefully that there are 2 numbers on each point. Basically, it goes from 6 watts up to 10 watts, and then the same points go from 11 to 15. So if you click the button 3 times, it will flash, the light on here will flash. At the moment it's on white. Okay, if you press it 3 times, it flashes blue, and now the higher amounts, the higher wattages are what are being used. So if I have this, at the moment it's set to this point here. Okay, you can see the little black part there that shows what it's on. And if I've got it set onto the white mode, then it's at 10 watts. Okay, but if I've got it set to the blue mode, it's on 15 watts. So it's quite a nice simple way of changing the wattage. One thing to note with this is it doesn't have any voltage listed on it, just wattages, so you do have to kind of know the tanks that you're using. This is classed more as an advanced device. It's not a mechanical mod, so it's got a lot of the safety features that you wouldn't get in a mech mod, but you do have to kind of know what you're doing with it, because otherwise you're going to end up having a bad experience from your tank. I mean, I know for instance that this Nautilus Mini can handle pretty much any of these. It seems to be good for me. Around between 11 and 15 is normally fine. Probably around 12, 13 is what I'd normally use. But if you don't know the tank very well, well, then just make sure that you kind of figure out how it works, because it will affect the quality of your vape. It doesn't have an ohm meter or a display of any kind to it, so you do also need to know what resistance you're putting in. So you'll need an ohm meter, or maybe like a device that has a meter built into it, like a Cloudpore or any kind of DNA mod. Yeah, so anyway, but yeah, so essentially once you put the battery in, all you do is you just screw the tank on as you would with any other mod, and then you can just attach a drip tip if you want. And like I say, Jack Vapor do sell these as well. So if I set it to, well, I set it to 15 watts. As you can see, the battery doesn't have any trouble producing vapor. This is my old favourite Yorkshire Fog from Vaping King, so it's a 50-50 liquid, but the vapor you get from it is pretty decent. It is a lovely thing to hold. It's got quite a bulkiness to it, but it's not unwieldy. It's quite a nice solid feel in your hand compared to a lot of other mods. I mean, like the Cloudport, which is brilliant, but obviously, well, it's kind of bulky, but it's a lot lighter than this. But this has got a very solid feel, which, I mean, personally, I quite like, because it just feels a lot more solid in your hand. The drip tip doesn't fit quite brilliantly on here on the Nautilus, but if you bite the end, then it doesn't really make much of a difference. So, brilliant piece of kit. If I just go through some of the pros and cons of it. Pros, which I've already mentioned really, it's a lovely looking piece of kit. The wood is a really nice finish. The stainless steel is really nice. The quality of the build is really good. It does work with Ego and 510 tanks, so you're not kind of closing off any of your old tanks that might use Ego threading. It produces, like you saw, it produces a good vape. And of course you can get like the stems, which would look a bit dodgy on most other things like a Cloudport or something, but it does really fit nicely with this. You do tend to get a lot of people asking you where you got it from, so it's quite a stylish thing. Now, there are a couple of cons. Some of them are quite minor. Like I said, the whole clicky button is a bit of a nuisance, but that's something that, you know, you can overlook. It's not a massive issue, but it would be nice if it was a bit less clicky. The other main issue, really, probably the only other issue with it, is the fact that it uses 18350 batteries, which have got quite low capacities. I mean, the Cloudport has got an 18650 battery in, and that's a 3200 mAh battery, so that can last me, you know, if I'm going at like a moderate vaping or even chain vaping a bit, that can last me anywhere from 2 to 4 days, depending on how much I use it. Whereas with this, I mean, I've taken this out with me, and with a single battery, you will probably get maybe, well, you would probably get up to 5 or 6 hours. If you're chain vaping, you'll probably get like 2 hours, 3 hours max. So you don't get a huge capacity on the batteries. So you would, if you do get one of these, then you are going to want to buy some spare 18350 batteries, flat top ones as well. So yeah, that's one of the biggest issues, is the battery life. But to be fair, 18350 batteries are pretty inexpensive. You know, you can buy, I mean, I got some from Torchy, the battery boy, who has an eBay store and also operates on UK Vapors, and I got two 850 mAh batteries for £7.15. That's with the postage as well. So they're not particularly expensive, but you do want to make sure that you carry batteries out with you. And that's probably one of the only other issues, I think, with this, is because of this is quite bulky, and then carrying the batteries around adds an extra bit of bulk. This isn't something you can really fit in your pocket. I mean, something like the Cloudport, you can just put that in a pocket and it's fine, or like a regular kind of cylindrical Ego battery like the Series E, you know, you could put that in your pocket and it's fine. But this does add a lot of bulk to your pocket, so you really need to carry it in a coat or a bag or something, which is probably one of the only other downsides. It doesn't come, if you just buy the pipe part on its own, it doesn't come with a battery, it doesn't come with a stem, so you do need to think about accessories that you're going to need to buy. If I just go through with you the prices, there's a wasp trying to come in. Don't forget, you can get 15% off any order from Jack Vapor by using the code, which should be appearing just about now. Okay, so it is $69.99 for the pipe mod itself. Okay, that doesn't come with a battery, so bear that in mind. You can get an optional battery for $5.99 off the site. You can also get an optional charger for $8.99. Now that is another thing to note. Okay, it doesn't come with a battery, and also because it doesn't have a charging port anywhere, you can't charge the battery in the pipe like you can with things like, well, anything like the Series E that you can plug in, or you've got the Cloudport, which has a charging port at the bottom. This doesn't have any of that. Okay, so the only way to charge the battery once it runs out is to take it out and put it into a charger. So you do need to get hold of a charger if you don't have one. I did actually pick up off eBay, good old eBay, picked up an IntelliCharger i2, which is a Nightcore charger. Okay, you can use different size batteries. You can see in there I've got an 18350 here. I've got an 18650 there. Can charge them at the same time, and it's a really good charger. That was about, what did I say, $11.99 that cost. So not bad. You can get a 4 battery charger as well, which is obviously a bit more expensive. But just make sure if you do pick one of these up that you do get an 18350 battery, or well, preferably more than one. And you also get a charger. You can also get optional premium and sub-ohm tanks off the Jack Vapor site when you order this, so you can select those as options if you want. So yeah, just before I finish, just to remind you 2 important things. Okay, first of all, like I said, this doesn't have a variable voltage on it, so when you set the wattage you have to know what you've put here. You have to know what your tank is, what the resistance is, what the tank works well with. So something like the Steam, I think it's Steam calculators that you can get on Google. If you just go to Google and type in, what would you type in? I can't even think now. Well, you're just looking for vaping calculators, okay, that can tell you what amps you're getting. Okay, you have to know your battery as well. So I mean, like, I know the battery in here is an 8 amp battery. That's the maximum it can hold. So if it's an 8 amp battery, then I need to work out with the resistance and everything that I'm putting in whether it can support that. Most things are fine, but obviously if I were to put like a sub-ohm tank on here and I were to run it at 15 watts, it could be pushing above what the battery can handle. So it is classed as a slightly more advanced device because you do need to know what you're putting on and you need to know the resistance of everything. But to be fair, it's not a super advanced device. You know, it's not like a mech mod. You're not going to blow yourself up, but you still do need to be careful when you're using batteries like this. And the only other thing really that I was going to mention, no, that's it actually. That's it. So if you do want to pick up one of these, then you can get it, like I said, for $69.99 from Jack Vapor. Discount code, don't forget that, 15% off any order, so it's well worth it. And yeah, I would recommend, if you do get it, picking up the $4.99 stainless steel pipe stem, and make sure you get some batteries, because otherwise it's going to arrive and you're not going to be able to use it. But yeah. Ooh, that's it at 15 watts. In fact, what I'll do, I'll knock it down and I'll show you it at, let's say, 8 watts, because that's a popular one. I think I've just switched it off. Probably doesn't help. Okay. Still tons of vapor, so you know it doesn't really make too much of a difference. Obviously your battery will drain a lot quicker if you're constantly using it at 15 watts, or if you're chain vaping, but you know, so it always carry spares. I've now got 3 batteries for this, which I carry around in a little battery box. I would definitely recommend, if you are on the UK Vapors forum, checking out Torchy the Battery Boy, because I mean, a pair of batteries, I mean, a fully charged battery will last probably, these ones will last me about 3 to 4 hours, depending on how much I'm using this. So you're talking about nearly 8 hours maybe worth of use out of it, so you could get a full day's use. They don't take too long to charge, and yeah, £7.15 for a pair, so you can't really argue with that. So yeah, that's about it. Hopefully it hasn't been too long-winded or all over the place, but yeah, that's pretty much it. There are a couple of like minor cons to it, but for the most part it is a really solid, nice bit of kit. It will definitely get plenty of looks when you're out with it. It's very nice to kind of sit down like in a pub garden or something and use it. But yeah, a really nice device. $69.99 Jack Vapor. Don't forget the code. And yeah, happy vaping. Thanks for watching.